Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Malifaux, and tonight we've got Karai versus Yan Lo, and a few of the new Wave 5 upgrades and models thrown in. For terrain, we've got these height, million blocking, impassable hardcover buildings and rock features, height 1 climbable hardcover walls, soft cover hedges with height 1 climbable, hazardous severe terrain, spiky fences, impassable hardcover pillar, hardcover wall. That's about it seems. My opponent chose this corner, and he's got Karai with Ectoplasm, Swirling Aether and Bloody Shears, a Flesh Construct, a Rotten Bell, a Bone Pile, new model, a Canine Remains, and over here, tucked away behind the corner, is a Bayou Smuggler. Deploying from the shadows by the statue in the square, we've got Vincent, who's done a deal with death. In my corner, I've got Yin the Penangalan, Izamu the Armour, Yan Lo, with Awakening, Reliquary, and Follow Their Footsteps, Chiaki the Niece, Soul Porter, Carrion Emissary with Ancestral Conflux, and Toshiro the Daimyo with Command the Graves. It's been a while since I've done an all-ancestor crew, and I felt like it was time to have a family reunion and have a little play around, see what Yan Lo's new upgrades do. So my crew's not ideal for squatters' rights, low model count, difficulty interacting whilst engaged, but I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way, move up to the centre, use Yan Lo to ping my opponent's models off the markers and into someone standing in my backfield, possibly Izamu, free the markers up that way. My crew moves about as fast as treacle, and I'm fairly sure Karai is known to summon lots and lots of shit, so getting Leave Your Mark done seems pretty hard. Give that a miss. Could do setup. The enemy's got to be around this central line, and, Vincent's starting quite far forward. He doesn't have an engagement. He's a bit pushy, and I'm likely to be out-activated, so, there's some pros and cons to taking it. Could try to dummy claim jump at the same time, but really my crew's not built to drop markers. Yan could hand out his AP to do it, but then he's not doing his lightning dancing. It's not terribly efficient, so we'll give that one a skip this time. An Ancestor-heavy crew happens to synergize quite well with Last Stand. There's a lot of enforcers. I can bring them back, most of them. And I hear Karai likes to summon a lot and get lots of activations, so I feel this could work out quite well. As for my second scheme, well, this is my first time facing Karai, and I like to give new masters that I encounter a bit of a test. I hear she's pretty unkillable, and so I want to find out for myself, and I'm going to take Eliminate the Leadership. This does change the initial plan slightly, in that Izamu, Yin and Yan Lo are going to go straight for Karai and try to take her down hard, whilst Toshiro and the Emissary hold the centre line and maybe get out an Ashigara or two to help them. And with the benefit of hindsight, we can all see that this is a terrible plan, as my two schemes conflict, and killing Karai is really hard. There's my turn 1 hand. Meh, not a lot's going to happen this turn, I reckon. I don't see anything Karai is likely to swirl at me, and I'm not planning anything crazy. So I get made to go first, and so I put the Carrion Emissary up by this building to give him a bit of cover, put down the shards to block Vincent's route towards me, an easy line of sight. So he can either chill his clogs around over here, or waste his AP coming around and being a little, coming towards me, being a bit more vulnerable, closer to my crew, without the AP to hurt me too bad, hopefully. And then guys just start wandering up. My Soul Porter pushes Yin and Toshiro out on the other side of this building to get them up the field a little bit further. Bell is luring up people, and Flesh Construct, as far as I can tell, hasn't moved yet. The two Canine Remains have moved out on their flanks, and one coming more centrally, and this green one coming behind the building, where I'm going to forget about it for pretty much the rest of the game. Karai fails to summon a Seishin, summons 2 drowned off the Flesh Construct. I think she failed a summon. It wasn't great activation for her. And then Vincent pushes around here, walks up and then shoots Toshiro. Tries to use his 0 action first to deny me the use of Soul Stones, which would have been really nasty. I think I stopped that. But his crossbow bolt that ignores Hard to Wound does a fair amount of damage, and he's going to be a pain. So we end things like this. Chiaki's noticed that she's got enough space to nip behind this building and get around, and she'll be able to take one of the squat markers over here, and I should be able to hold that fairly comfortably. It means I don't have her in the centre to be taking adversary off people and healing them up, but I'll have to deal with that. Yin's just going to be too slow to make it, and I need her to help me take down Karai. Yan Lo's plan is to help out this area over here and then hit the center and Karai with a surprise attack. I'm trying to make, perhaps just these two models over here might make Karai feel that she can take her mob and take them on. So I'm betting she'll be around here somewhere. So yeah, Yan just gets extra chi, runs over here, upgrades to Ash Ascendant and gives the emissary fast. Bone Heap showing off his speed here, giving himself extra movement and getting right into the central position. Not 100% where the smuggler's gone. At the end of this turn, I reveal Last Stand. Turn 2, Cream deck continues to justify why I like to use my black deck. I get the initiative, my fast emissary goes. I think he shoots the Bone Heap trying to blast onto Vincent. I can't remember whether he succeeded or not. I think he did. He then moves into contact with the squat marker and claims it, and then drops his shards to stop the dog from coming in and trying to take it back from me. Was a bit worried here. I'd meant to put the emissary, on the marker so that its 1-inch engagement would completely cover it, but I noticed that I hadn't, and if the dog could get exactly, on the other side of the marker, then it would be able to switch it back, as I believe the markers are just a little bit bigger than my engagement range. So I've tried to block that with the shards. I think Vincent went, killed my mindless zombie who was trying to stop him from shooting. I think he just pushed out a little bit. Managed to get the thing where Toshiro can't use soul stones, which is pretty terrifying for Toshiro. He really needs to use them for prevention, and Chiaki's nowhere to be seen to get that off him. And then he proceeds to frickin' vandalize Toshiro with severe damage on negative flips. I think you can see these two 13s or something over here. So yeah, Toshiro, not healthy. I get Toshiro to go, he summons me an Ashigaru and then kind of runs over here. I debated running him away over here, towards the table edge, but I figure that's just going to take me AP getting back into position, and so if he lives, he lives, if he dies, he dies. I'm just going to put him into position so that if he does live, he'll be of some use to me next turn, and the plan is just to summon him back with Yan when I can. The bell ends up luring Toshiro through the fence, as this is the way he's got to go to get close to her, so he takes some hazardous terrain damage. The bone shard, or bone heap, whatever it's called, by the way, has just been running through the fence, doesn't care, as it can reduce damage to 0, which is amazing. And this picture is me fucking up my plan. So I had intended to heal Toshiro, and then lightning dance these motherfuckers, the bone heap and Vincent, over to stand by Izamu. The idea being to get them out of the way, let me dominate this area where we're trying to contest the squat markers, and ideally take down Vincent, as I reckon Izamu should not have too much trouble with that, with his 3-inch engagement. It's not a great plan, considering I'm counting on these guys getting to Karai. So what do? I fail to heal Toshiro, because I burnt out my good cards on summoning and trying to stop the no soulstone attack. I then decide to use my upgrade and try Lightning Dance as a 0 action and fail it. And the way I read the card, if he uses Lightning Dance as a 0 action, so it basically says use Lightning Dance as a 0 action instead of a 1 action. So I'm reading that as if you use it as a 0 action, you only take a 0 action once, and so therefore you can't use it as a 1 AP action after you've done that. I'm now not sure that's the right interpretation, but that's what I was using for this game. Let me know, guys. Right, so now I've messed that up, and I've got my Ashigaru engaging both Vincent and the Bone Heap, so it's I can't even shoot at them. I think I just charge him through the hazardous terrain, taking some damage, and attack the Bone Heap, doing very little damage to it, and basically the idea being to stand on the marker with the idea of killing these things. Next turn, taking the marker for myself, or at least denying my opponent the marker. Not Yan Lo's best activation, I think we can all agree. Karai shows Yan how it's done by moving up and killing Toshiro. Again, failing to summon the station, I believe. And I believe Karai has decided that killing my last stand scoring models is the way to go. So I get my guys up, importantly not attacking anything so that Akirio won't come out. The Soul Porter helped push Izamu up, and he's now standing on the squat marker, blocking that off and then engaging all the rest of the guys. Yin has also drifted over, again, just, not damaging anybody. And I try to put Fear Behind the Eyes on Karai. And I get the Red Joker to do it, but he's got the mask trigger, and so passes it off onto this Drowned. Rather a pain, that. This is how things look at the end of the turn. This Canine Remains has just moved up a little bit to do, you know, nothing else it can do this turn. The other ones run around to try to go get to the other squat marker. My Ashigaru has knocked the Bone Heap back through the hazardous terrain, but as it's been through this terrain feature once already this turn when it went in at the beginning to claim the squat marker, it doesn't take any extra damage. Not that it would anyway in all likelihood, and then I think looks like I've attacked Vincent, who's just skipped away, not sure if I did anything. And it appears that the smuggler has come up to the centre to join us as well. So I think the only point scored this turn is last stand for me. Turn 3. This is Vincent getting the initiative and using his Funeral Pyre ability to blast off away my corpse marker and cause my guys to take damage, which I can't really waste my cards preventing. I think Yan Lo tries to prevent it with Soulstone and it's a dud. He then takes some shots at Yan Lo, knocking him down to below half wounds and declaring Eliminate the Leadership. I can't remember, he might have prevented Yan Lo from using Soulstones. Yan looks like he goes, summons Toshiro back from the minus zombie, heals him up for damage, sends to Spirit Ascendant, giving the emissary fast, gives Toshiro armor, and claims me the squat marker. The Rotten Bell then goes, pulls him through the hazardous terrain fence, pulls him again into her pounce range, pounces on him, and kills him with a severe or something. See, that wasn't great. Man, that was one feisty bell. So it looks like my Ashigaru had gone round and put the dog on 1 wound. My emissary then later went and killed the dog, put his shards down behind Vincent so that he couldn't push away anywhere. And then started attacking him. Vincent's pushed over towards him to try to get this escape route out over here. Toshiro and the Bone Heap are scrabbling at each other. I was out of range of Yan Lo's corpse marker to do any more summoning. Not that I'm really incentivized to, as I need to try to keep my numbers low. And Toshiro completely underwhelms me against his much cheaper foe. The Bone Heap is just so good. It's been taking 1 damage, no damage, no damage, 1 damage. 2 damage, that kind of thing, and it's still sticking around. Green Canine Remains takes the far squat marker. Right, so the sequence of this I'm not entirely sure about, but basically Yin has disengaged from these guys leaping the wall to be in this spot engaging Karai, and as they were drowned either side of her, basically making it very difficult for Ikiryo to place in range to strike Izamu. I fail the Gnawing Fizz again because she gets the mask trigger, very, very annoying, and then I don't think I managed to do anything else. The Bayou Smugglers moved up, and I'm going to be sorry guys, I don't have the rules for it, and it didn't really have that big an impact in the game, so I'm struggling to remember what it did. I do get the sense that it's a great model, and it's possible that it's come up and it might have Don't Mind Me, in which case it would have dropped this marker, and alarm bells are ringing because that's pretty good sign that there's a setup on Izamu. I've already used the Soul Porter to push Izamu forward into range of Karai, so there's not really any getting him out of it, and I just gotta hope that I don't go killing too many drowned by accident. But my opponent's well ahead of me in this department, and the Flesh Construct attacks this drowned, bringing it down to its last wound and giving it some poison. Karai has, I think she attacked this drowned, killing it, dropping a scheme marker, and he could have placed another one for using the Ectoplasm ability. But as you can see at the end of the turn, it didn't matter, he's got all the scheme markers he needs to score setup. Izamu probably attacked Karai and didn't, I don't reckon I hit that hard. Maybe I did some damage. Pretty sure she's out of soul stones now, and noticeably, there are no spirits around her anymore. But ending this turn, it's not looking good for Yan's forces. Karai has just scored scored all of her scheme points in one fell swoop. Would have generated me 3 chi, I believe, if Yan had been around. Sad that I didn't get to use any of those upgrades. Probably would have been enough for me to get the new Blood Ascendant upgrade on next turn if he'd been around. Sad times. I get squatters rights, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and dog in the corner 7 to my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chiaki in the corner on the other marker 7 means I don't get last stand. Damn it. Probably shouldn't have killed that Canine Remains. Turn 4, there we go, a little bit better hand. Shame Yanlo's not around to see it. Bone Heap Red Jokers the fuck out of Toshiro, now he hasn't got any armour anymore. And moves to stand on the marker, giving 0 fucks about the hazardous terrain. Oh, and eats Toshiro's corpse, healing himself up. 6 stones, this model. 6 stones. I'm definitely getting it. The emissary could frickin' summon it for free on turn 3 if it was going well. Really, really good. But Izamu gets me some vengeance, smashing down Karai, putting those high cards to good use, and getting me eliminate the leadership. And you'd think this picture would be Akiryo smacking down Izamu, wouldn't you? But no, Akiryo did do quite a bit of damage to Izamu. But the finishing blow was this frickin' Belle, who lured him around, pounced on him, and then attacked him with her umbrella, hitting severe and bringing low the mighty warrior. I choose not to do his return strike, as I need my opponent to maintain a higher model count than me. So yeah, a somewhat dishonourable death. The Soul Porter knows a thing or two about honour, and he's pushed Yin out of combat, got himself wedged in, engaging everyone just to try to help her escape. Forget what Yin did, she was probably just trying not to kill anyone and trying to survive whilst preventing them from taking this squat marker. My Ashigaru, who Toshiro had made fast last turn, kills Vincent and then tries to come over here and damage the bone heap. And the emissary runs all the way around the corner, tries to put up its shards here and fails, and the dog charges in, doing a whole heap of damage. I think he severed at some point and a lot of poison, and the emissary is hanging in there. A tense and desperate game, ladies and gentlemen. Final turn. I've got to try to keep both the emissary and Yin alive, so they can help Chiaki score me my final last stand point. I get the initiative, enabling the Soul Porter to push Yin out of engagement and can go defensive. The enemy gives chase, but Yin manages to escape, hiding out in these ruins. I think the plan might have been for the Belle to draw her back, but I think that failed. Chiaki nipped out, made the Flesh Construct insignificant, and then nipped back. The Bone Heap, who had taken this squat marker back last turn, increases his movement to 6, so he can run over and get this one. So good! And I think Akiryo had come over to kill my Ashigaru to enable him to do that. And my Carrion Emissary, who's destined, has been healing it to stop it from dying from poison, escaped the canine remains and claimed this squat marker, and the canine remains could not bring down my bird. And that, my friends, is the end of the game. So in final scores, Karai scored 2 points, I believe, for squatters' rights, 3 points for eliminating leadership, and 3 points for setup. Yan Lo scored 3 points for eliminating leadership, 3 points for last stand, and technically 3 points for squatters' rights. However, from where I'm sitting, I just can't see my emissary. And what with all the excitement, I forgot that he had taken this squat marker. So when it came to adding up the points, I couldn't see him and thought that I hadn't scored squatters this turn. So we thought it was an 8-all draw, and it was only when we came to pack up that I noticed the emissary was sitting on that marker. And I do this to my opponent a lot, and it must be very irritating when I go, oh whoops, I scored more points. More importantly, it can really bite you in the arse in tournaments, and it's very important to keep track of the score properly, and I really need to learn to pay better attention to this kind of thing. So we're going to make this one an honorary 8-all draw. So my thoughts on the game, last stand was a good choice, eliminate the leadership was not. Karai is freaking maddening to kill, and if he'd been luckier and been able to summon his Seishin, killing her would have been next to impossible. And I didn't mention it, as I didn't really understand, but one of her upgrades, or one of her abilities, was allowing her to drop cards for soul stones at the beginning of the turn, which was making it even harder for me to try to drain out her resources. I mean, I knew I was going to have to chew through a few minions to get to her, but I was hoping that a volume of quality attacks would strip out her stones pretty quickly, and so eventually I'd get through, and I think if there'd been Seishin around, it just wouldn't have happened. Particularly as a Kiryu, and this freaking Belle is not a joke. That Belle, I mean, MVP. She was on fire. Bone Heap was also a pretty good contender for that. Soaked up a lot of half-hearted attacks, held up my centre, killed Toshiro, and was just so damn flexible with making himself better at the hitting, more defensible, faster to get to places, healing himself up. Yeah, really good model, very, very solid. Shame I can't comment more on the Swamp Smuggler, whatever she's called. Oh, and shout out to Vincent as well, he was a royal pain in the arse. That was the game, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.